Hi everyone, welcome to Naturopathic Hangouts. I'm Dr. Amy Duong, and I'm be speaking to my best friend Mimosa. She's also a doctor in naturopathic in San Francisco. So today we're going to talk about um, kind of stress management, different things to help you and students while they're studying. And Mimosa has a little story about her friend, so she'll
Hmm.
keep us, yeah.
Hi, Amy. So,
Hi.
one of my friends, she's in medical school right now, and she's taking her step one this week actually. And so she texted me about like a week or two ago, saying that she's really stressed out. She's not able to remember anything, and the stress is preventing her from sleeping well. And then she can't sleep, and the next morning she's super fatigued, and it's a vicious cycle. And so she's not really sure what to do. So, going by the naturopathic principles and the order of how we do things, I told her the most important thing right now is to take care of herself and make sure her diet's good. She's eating enough, she's exercising enough, and she's sleeping enough. And so we've decided to focus on those things, as well as I suggested some supplements to help her during this time. So I suggested rosemary and ginkgo and rhodiola, and those things, they really help with bringing blood, circulating the blood to the brain, and therefore helping with memory. And there's a lot of different blends of herbs and different products that have those things, and it's excellent. And for her stress, I recommended some things that help the adrenal glands, that support the adrenal glands. And we all know that the adrenal glands help regulate cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and that also affects sleep as well. And so I recommended some ashwagandha, some rhodiola, holy basil, all of those. And once again, there's a lot of different products and blends that contain those herbs, and it's excellent.
Yeah.
And also, for sleep, I recommended valerian and some magnesium,
Hmm.
and those, and just taking a little bit before bedtime with some
Hmm.
chamomile tea. It's good to have a little like bedtime routine so your body knows it's used to it every day, saying, okay, it's time to wind down. And I also recommended some vitamin C, 2,000 milligrams 3 times a day, and that is great to strengthen the immune system, to maintain a strong immune system, especially during this time of
Hmm.
stress. And it also is really good and supports the adrenal glands as well. And so
Hmm.
she texted me about a week later after trying all these things, and she said that it's been great. Like, she's able to sleep, she's
Hmm.
able to remember things, and she feels like her stress is has decreased tremendously, which is
Hmm.
excellent, especially during this time when you need, to focus, and stress is pretty much like the enemy at this time. What do you think?
Yeah. For some of the things that you were talking about, we can go a little bit into more in depth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that diet is definitely important because, oftentimes when you're stressed, you can also do a lot of stress eating, and that, means more snacking, more things that you can go eat on the run. So taking that time to, have really good nourishing meals, salads, a lot of like green smoothies. I just remember our naturopathic education where everyone would bring juices and smoothies, and we would have like gross stuff in our teeth, and um, but yeah, just making sure that you're having a nutritious breakfast. That I like to do a lot of like gluten-free oatmeals with some nuts. Like walnuts are really good for your brain. As
Mhm.
it's also like antioxidant with berries. So all these things are really good. Another thing to talk about too, some of the herbs that you can take as a tea.
Mhm.
And so if you can make teas as a ritual, it also helps you kind of calm down, like feeling the warmth of the tea and making the hot water, and even sharing teas so that, there's still a social aspect to a time where you feel really alone and kind of on your own. when you There's a lot of pressure that you put on yourself, so trying to calm it down with different routines that you do is really important. Other things I like, and if you don't want to do herbs for sleep help, you talked about magnesium, which is helpful to relax all the muscles of the body, which helps you
Mhm.
fall asleep easier. I think you talked about cortisol manager, which has
Yeah.
yeah, specific herbs, and I think it has L-theanine and phosphatidylserine, and helps you kind of wind down, and you can wake up thinking about how much you have to study, and all these things probably come up too. So the cortisol manager helps you maintain that sleep throughout, which is really good. I also like different amino acids like glycine and GABA. Um, GABA is a neurotransmitter, so these things also help provide the brain to go into the inhibitory pathway, and so instead of stimulating the sympathetic, part of the brain, you're just kind of winding it down for sleep. Some other herbs that you can take, like to help you sort of relax but also be still focused, you could do the scutellaria. That's a big one that we used in school. I remember having a tincture of the rosemary, centella, bacopa is also a really good one too. So all of these good things.
Yeah, there's always something to do. There's always something you can take to help the body. And all of these things, these herbs, if you take it at the recommended dose that we recommend to patients, it's completely healthy and completely safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, looking back on how the different patterns of how I studied and things, taking a 5-minute break even in like for the hour or 2 hours, and having a study buddy is really helpful too, to keep your, we did that a lot, and being like, okay, it's time for a break, let's go get some like green tea at like Starbucks or something. That was during our really hot days in Arizona, so it was iced tea. But what else? I think, even doing some yoga poses between different sections of what you have to study is really helpful. Doing a lot of down dog, bringing blood into the brain, even resting in child's pose, kind of get back into your body, and the deep breathing. You can feel your abdomen, it expand and contract when you're in that pose. So lots of down dogs, lots of child poses, even some sun salutations, really easy. So all these tips.
And making sure you get proper time out in nature, just maybe those 5 minutes of taking a study break. You can take off your shoes and do some earthing, grounding, just to be more in touch with the universe, and when you walk out with your feet, when you aren't wearing shoes, your body is able to absorb all the negative ions, which is really good to neutralize the free radicals that we make in our bodies. So just being out in nature without any shoes, just walking around, breathing some fresh air, feeling some sunshine. 5-minute break, 5-10 minute break like that every hour, every 2 hours, it's definitely excellent, and it's just gonna give your brain a break, and you're gonna feel rejuvenated and ready to study.
I know. Even just like going outside too, because the aspect of earthing, you see like the green grass, like how beautiful is that color? Just like, because sometimes when you're studying, you're in like white walls, white rooms, and it's just you and your computer, but just getting in touch with that like brightness of the colors, and the sky is blue, the grass is green, there's trees around you. Yeah, that's so nice.
Yeah, that's so nice. And just doing little things. Remember how we had our best days ever, Amy? Just doing little things.
Treat yourself days.
Treat ourselves days. Like, you've been studying so hard, so just treat yourself to like a cupcake, or something nice, and something that's gonna make something little that's gonna make you happy. That's gonna keep you going. So
there was one day Mimosa and I were like studying for our boards exam, and we're like, let's watch Mulan, and that's a ridiculous movie, but it brings you back to those like happy times where you can just laugh and listen to our Asian culture sing, and
exactly. You're singing along, and it was just like an hour and a half break, and we were ready to go back to studying after.
It's really good. What else? Any other study tips or stress management?
How about the kidney rubs? Remember?
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about that. I should do that.
You have someone do that for you. Just lean over, or you can do it on yourself too. Just like rub your kidneys. They're like, just feel where your ribs are.
At the end of the ribs. Yes.
and it's that area, and you could do it on yourself, or you can have someone, like your study buddy, do it for you. Just rub really vigorously for about like a minute, and then you get switched.
Yeah.
It feels really good. It
Yeah.
wakes things up.
Yeah. I don't know about you too, but I really liked when one of our other classmates, Christina, used to like tickle my back, and what it
Oh
does
yeah,
is like the superficial nerves and blood vessels, and when you just like tickle each other and yourself, like it just kind of relaxes everything because you're just stimulating those like superficial nerves and blood vessels to calm down. And so it's
yeah.
really nice and actually really invigorating too
It
afterwards.
is. It is definitely.
Mhm.
And if you live somewhere where it's nice and warm and not freezing, you could do alternating hot and cold showers too.
Mhm.
Like when
Mhm.
you wake up ready to study or you're feeling a little stressed, or even at night, it's a good way to calm the body down. Just start with hot and then do like 5 minutes of hot.
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just a little bit of cold, a couple seconds of cold, back to hot, back to cold, ending with cold, and it really wakes everything up. All the nerves, all the blood vessels,
Mhm.
circulates the blood vessels, increasing blood flow to the brain. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
really excellent.
Yeah. Another thing about that is talking about shower
Oh yeah,
health. I like to do the skin brushing before showering
oh
too,
yeah.
and that also does a similar aspect of like the tickling,
Mm-hmm.
but it works in the lymphatic system. So
Mm-hmm.
what happens is like when you brush, it kind of opens up the little like superficial like your lymphatic system is on the surface, so it kind
Mm-hmm.
of allows the lymph to move in different pathways so it can move.
Yeah.
So your lymph system doesn't have a pumping mechanism like your heart. So it's important to do like jumping on our trampoline
Yeah.
or even the skin brushing. And there's lots of YouTube videos on it, but we can also do a video next time about the
Yeah.
different pathways towards your heart to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, also, and along those lines, exercise. Making sure when you exercise, you just feel better and you're able to breathe in more oxygen and you make more mitochondria. Just all these great, excellent reasons to exercise. And it's a big stress reliever, too, one of the biggest stress relievers. And so making sure that you get proper exercise when you're studying.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
those natural endorphins that are created when you're
Yeah.
exercising. And so you have to find something for you that you enjoy. So
Hmm.
I know that there was a time where I was doing lots of hot yoga, and at that time it was like I was very determined, but there was this like stress, like, oh gosh, like the next yoga, I have to like prepare mentally for it. So
Hmm.
then I decided to do just regular yoga, and I think that's kind of more suited for me at this time. So just find
Exactly.
something that is like suitable for you, and it's kind of like your time for self-care and like a sanctuary that you create for your.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone likes different kinds of exercises, and everyone's bodies react differently to it too. So, or going on a hike, and going on a
Mm-hmm.
hike, maybe bringing some flashcards to do along the way, or up there if you want, and
Mm-hmm.
just like you can go up to a hill and just take off your shoes and absorb some sunlight, and
Yeah.
that's a good way to do everything all at once.
Yeah, I remember, different study buddies and the
Mm-hmm.
ones that were able to like read while they walk. I remember one of our friends, Amy Waite. I would just like listen to her kind of just read off of the sheet of
Yeah.
paper, and I was like, this is so helpful because having that auditory, learning and
Hmm.
someone talking to you about it, whereas sometimes when you're in class, you don't remember anything that goes on. So someone's
Exactly.
kind of like telling you a story about different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I feel like now that we're in practice, everything we learned before, it's starting to make sense now since we're actually using it. And so having like an end goal in sight, being
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm not studying this just for the sake of studying. I'm studying this because it's going to help me with patients. Like all of these things I'm learning now is going to help me with my future patients, and it's just going to make me a better doctor. So having that kind of like positive
Mhm.
attitude will definitely be good as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. Okay, well, Anything you'd like to close with, Melissa? I think that was pretty informative. Lots of things that we covered. We
Yeah.
can get into more detail about each of them another time, but kind of give you like a wide spread
Mhm.
idea of different aspects of stress. And that's not only with school, that's with life too. Like taking care of
Absolutely.
yourself, like while you're, in your careers and having
Mhm.
families, making sure you're getting that, stress relief and good
Sure.
sleep, good diet, all
Mhm.
these things. So,
Yeah. All right. That sounds great. I think that we covered a lot. And
okay, till
yeah.
next time. Bye, Melissa.
Bye.